Good morning to one and all. This is Dr. P. Lavanya, working as Associate Professor in MBA Department in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal. Today, our topic related to the question banks, related to the each module of managerial economics. First, we'll see the different type of analytical questions, how the module 1 in case of introduction to the business economics has been given. So we see what type of solutions we can give for the different analytical questions given in our question bank. So firstly we can see the question of how the internet is used in managerial economics in detail. Means detailing explain how the internet utilization in the managerial economics. First here we should give, when you want to give the solution or in case of examination pattern, first we should identify that what is managerial economics. So the decision making economics to be identified in the introduction. So in the introduction we should give what is the factors or relating to the explanation of managerial economics. So where we can say like this managerial economics is related to the applications of economic theory, maybe the methodology in order to solve the practical business problems. Means as we know that why we are utilizing this managerial economics means it is helpful for each and every business. Its theories, applications, methodologies or problem solving helps to identify the different problems and gives the solution. So with this introduction of managerial economics, we come to the addition saying that how the internet is useful in order to solve these different types of practical business problems. So we says that these internet in managerial economics has become very important, not only in economics, in each and every phase. The internet orientation or taking the information from internet is very much essential in the recent times. And it contributes, means by collecting the data where easily we can get within a less time. So it is help the organization to increase its efficiency and help to identify getting through internet different answers or the different solutions will make to identify the decision making process and overall effectiveness of the organization in case of managerial functions. Means we should give introduction, what is economical theories, managerial economic theory, and along with that how internet is gives an effective for overall decision making in the organization. So along with that, due to the utilization of the internet, what are the advantages or uses we can identify in the managerial economics. So one of the important use or assessment of this internet is related to the data collection and analysis. As alternative solutions or different types of data we can analyze from the internet oriented. Means maybe when we think of one individual thinking, maybe get one perspective of answer. But when we go on searching in the internet, different individuals thinking, different analysis we can gather together. And along with that, the internet will be helpful to us more in case of decision making relating to the communication and collaboration. Different types of information we can communicate or we can analyze or we can identify the solutions and we can collaborate. Maybe in one type of solution I can get one type of answer and another I can get another type of answer. So I can collaborate all the answers for my best utilization. And this internet is one of the important thing in case of e-commerce and online transaction. So without internet, this e-commerce platform cannot be examined. So e-commerce industries and online platforms are also one of the important aspects in order to identify its use in the internet. And this internet will help us to identify the supply chain management, where we can say the delivery systems Means as we can see that e-platforms, we can assess the part of delivery. Means from where the delivery point is there and how far our home is there and how it was delivering, how much time it will take. So these supply chain management, from where we are getting, who are our suppliers, so it is a brand or not, the company good, bad. So these type of information can also we can gather through internet in order to take the managerial decisions. And financial management, that is financial assessing of the product relating to the total cost, accounting nature, and how we can take the decision relating to the different types of investments or purchasing pattern of raw materials and other could be identified by the internet. And regulatory and compliances and information. So what are the regulatory frameworks we can collect relating to our product or our competitors? Analysis should be identified. And competition is one of the vital factor in the external market. So the competing analysis, when we comparing our prices with external competitors' prices and their features, should be identified by utilization of this internet. And along with that, we can say like HRM, human resource management, could be analytically identified or gather the data relating to the processing of the HR, training, developments and a recruitment pattern. And also the internet will use us the information relating to the CRM, that is customer relationship management. So what type of, how these relations to be maintained, and we can identify through CRM the loyal customers of our organization, and due to our brand, we can make the other customers are also engaged in our product. Means due to the utilization of the internet in our business regular activities, human resource management and customer relation management can also done in an effective manner. So finally we can say that nowadays or the present scenario, the internet plays in a very crucial role in case of economical events, maybe offering various types of tools, and also it offers the platforms which contribute for the data driven decisions. Means already the data was collected from the internet, only the management will has to participate in decision making. Means which alternative or which assistance is good for my organization. So these data driven decision making will make efficient communication and provides overall success for the business. So in this way, the success of the organization we can analyze by getting the information through internet. So for these we can give the introduction of economics, and after that what are the uses of internet to a common business or maybe helps in decision making, and we can give the conclusion. And the next question relating to this was evaluate the theory of the firm, providing an integrated framework for analysis of managerial decision making across the functional areas of business. Means here the question is relating that what is the theory of the firms related to the managerial decision making in functional areas of business. So for this, first we should give introduction of what is the theory of the firm and what type of decisions does organization has to take, and how that decisions will affect the functional area of the business. So we see in the solution saying that the theory of the firm. So here it is provides the conceptual framework to understand how business will operate and makes the decisions. Means the decision making pattern will be taken place related to the theory of the firm, and the theory of the firm, it is the foundation and analyzing for managerial decisions relating to the functional areas. Means across the functional areas where we can analyze the theories of the firm in order to take the different types of decisions. And we should consider the key aspects of the theory of the firm and how that key aspects will integrated with the managerial decision across the functional areas. Means what is the theory of the firm and how that theory of the firm will help us in decision making, and how we can analyze the decision making, and what are the key concepts or the key areas of these functional areas relating to this decision making. Now we'll see what are the key concepts of this decision theory of the firm related to the decision making. So the key concepts are, first we should identify the objectives of the firm. So when we want to match with my functional areas, first I should identify, is our objective is profit motive, service motive, or wealth maximization. So first we should enumerate that what sort is the main objective of the organization. Once the objective of the organization is identified, then we should identify what are the total cost and what sort of the revenue that organization is getting. So cost and revenue structure to be identified, and market structure means at the features of any market where the product should be operated or work. So maybe the perfect competition or imperfect competition. So what type of market structure does my firm is operating? Next, we should identify the key factor like production and technology. How much goods we are producing, what type of production pattern we are providing, and what are the technological ideas or the skills what we have been started. So technological analysis to be identified. And marketing and sales. Another key factor is what type of marketing techniques or the strategies does organization was utilizing, and what is the total revenue or the sales already earned in the past related to the past data. Human resources means relating to the HRM, what are the pattern of training, development, and what type of HRM activities are considered in the organization. Financial and capital structure, what is the total capital of the organization, and what type of components, maybe what is an equity share, what is maybe internal retained earnings, debt share, or maybe the preference capital. So we should constitute how our capital structure was modified and what state of return that the capital is earning, and we should consider the cost of capitals in these capital structures. Along with that, another important key factor relating is risk and uncertainty. So though we have identified the objectives and the revenues of the organization, we should 100% accommodate what type of risk and return analysis were there. So uncertainty should be identified in order to go for a longer risk activities. Means risk to be minimized, or at the same way return to be maximized. And innovation and entrepreneurship is also another key factor which relates to our means innovative entrepreneurship means product innovative, maybe in case of futures or maybe in case of marketing we should identify innovative methods to be come into the across. So in this way, these are the functional areas where we should identify in case of these elaborating the theory of the firm. So here by taking the above information, we can conclude saying that the theory of the firm will having a comprehensive framework, means constituting all these factors to be taken into consideration while going for the decision making across the various functional areas. And along with that, organization should recognize it multi-faceted nature of the business operations. Why we are saying that multi-faceted nature means the dynamic external environment doesn't have only one factor to be faced. All the factors related to the economic considerations, behavior of the firms, or maybe marketing, consumers, strategic aspects, all will be changing. So these multi-factors to be considered in operating or taking the consideration of functional areas. And in these, the manager should navigate or have the direction through these complexity achievements of the firm in objectives taking into the market conditions. Means the complex nature of the organization means the managers must and should identify the direction to get overcome of some sort of disadvantages where the organization will relating to the objectives of the organization, maybe marketing condition, production pattern, maybe HRM resources, financial consideration, and also the dynamic, that is changing external business environment. Means when I want to go for a comprehensive framework of these matching the theory of the firm with its functional areas, I should accommodate or coordinate all the factors related to the business in order to take an analyzed or managerial decision. Next, another analytical question where we can identify like analyze why managerial economics is being considered a central part of each functional area of management. So, managerial economics as in the importance as we know, it is a common household economics. Same in the organization, it is in a central part. Why? Because it relates to the decision making analysis. So, every business depends upon the what sort of decision taken by the organization. So, managerial or the business economics is a central part. It is related to the decision making forum. So, here we can consider it as a valuable tool. That is, this managerial economics is considered as a valuable tools and the insights which helps the manager in taking the informed decisions in every business aspects. Means the decision making must and should be in an informed nature rather than for informal nature. Means formally we should communicate each and everything to the all aspects of the organization. Here there are some key reasons or important aspects relating to the crucial why these managerial economics considers as a central part of the functional area of management. So the functional areas are the key reasons are managerial economics mainly depends upon the allocation of resources. Resources allocation is one of the important part and parcel of the economics where it takes the decisions that how much resources are allocated to the each and every problem or each and every functional area. And it gives more stressing upon the decision making relating to the all sorts of actions taken in the organization. And this another important key area is profit maximization. As we know, every organization 100% want the profits. Without profit, no organization can sustain. So these managerial economics will depend 100% upon the profit maximization concept where the cost will be less and profits will be more. And it relates upon the demand and supply conditions. It analyzes the what are the demand requirements considering the taste and preference of the consumers and taking a part of the supply constraints by enhancing the continuous supply of the goods and services to the external market. And risk analysis, we should take another key factor 100% identification of the risk to be done. Without knowing the risk and uncertainty, we cannot involve in the financial consideration. And policy formulation and optimum production levels. 100% based upon the demand, we has to go for optimum production. For that, policy has to be formulated by the top management of the organization. And analysis of the market structure is also be identified in order to know about the key functional areas. That is assessing of the key functional areas. We has to identify that how far we are in or which type of market structure we are present. So with these, we can serve as a unifying framework relating to the functional area why these managerial economics is called as central part of the organization. And at the same way, itself will use us a more analytical tools and the principles that makes the rational and informed decisions ultimately which creates the success and also sustainability of the every business in a good operating environment. And another one we can say like examine the principles related to the decision making. So there are the certain important principles relating to the decision making of managerial economics like opportunity cost, maybe principle of time perspective, incremental principle and discounting principle. So we should first give the introduction what are these principles and next go for explanation how that principle will useful in case of decision making. So we see one by one like the first one is opportunity cost principle. Opportunity cost is not other than the foregone cost or the next best alternative, or sometimes we'll call it as sacrificed cost or the next thing what is there for me to do. So what we'll call like it is foregone cost or maybe the next best alternative in case of monetary aspect. Every mark of business must and should have an opportunity. Why? Because business involves in dumping of lot of capital. So without having any other alternative, with only one point we cannot start the business. So every factor must and should have an opportunity cost principle. So this help us to make a good decision by having alternatives. If one is not available, other could be taken into the consideration. So these opportunity cost will evolve relating to the potential benefits and the profits that has been gained in choosing the alternative courses of action. Means due to these we can have the choosing different actions. Means opportunity cost will use us different alternatives where we can take a best decision. Next, principle of time perspective. So this principle gives the importance of time along of cost and benefits associated. Means the present value factor is considered. The money whatever received now is more important rather than money tomorrow. So timing of the cost, when the money received, when we paid the money. So this is very much important in case of decision making, as the capital itself or internal earnings itself will also have the interest. So in order to know these interest rates payment to the external people, this principle of time perspective is very much important. So these help us to the acknowledging the knowledge relating to the money charges over the time, decisions relating to the present and future value of the cost and benefits. Means present value and the future value is considered in case of this time perspective. So it helps us to assess the long-term implication and sustainability in the decision making. Means capital budgeting decisions are to be taken based upon this time principle. Incremental principle. So incremental principle is the principle which gives the decisions relating to the additional benefits or the additional cost what an organization is associated. Means additional cost or the benefit when we associate it in any planning or any course of action. Means what type of extra benefit that organization is getting or extra cost. This is also called as a marginal principle, incremental principle, or we can say like marginal principle. Means additional benefits and additional cost related to the some course of specific action. So these incremental cost is very much useful to know or identify about the total cost and its benefit. So this mainly focuses upon the changes what has to be taken place relating to the decisions when it want to make about positive changes in minimizing the unnecessary cost. So incremental cost and incremental revenue help us to identify how an organization gets additional revenue and how an organization can decrease its unnecessary cost, that is incremental cost, in order to gain more amount of profits. Next principle is discounting principle. So discounting principle recognizes the time preference or the value of the money where it decreases over the time. Future cost and benefit should be discounted at a present value. Means present value of the money, and future value of money is to be identified in the discounting principle. Present value means how much money I'll get if I have been invested in the future a certain amount. And future value, if I invested now, how much money I'll get in the future. So these 2 points has been identified with some discounting factor. Maybe 10%, 5% or 6% some discounting factor will be there. Based upon that, future value and present value will be identified, which is called as a discounting principle. So this principle take into the consideration time value or time preference of money. So which make us to identify that the money value today is more when it was than the future. Means whatever I receive now is more important than tomorrow. Why? Because tomorrow is uncertain. I don't know that tomorrow may happen or may not happen. But whatever receives now, I can utilize for the best thing or the best need. So that's why this principle will help us very much in case of decision making. And when I want to go for investment pattern in the long term decisions like capital budgeting, I can invest by taking consideration of this discounting principle. So these are the 4 types of principles which help us, the organization, to go for having an informed decisions by considering the various factors related to the opportunity cost, timings of the benefits, incremental changes and future value of the money. So all these principles are very much essential for each and every organization in case of decision making pattern. And the next question is relating to the stimulate the steps involved in managerial decision making. So in case of the decision making pattern, once a management want to or higher hierarchy want to take the decision, what are the steps to be followed should be analyzed. So for that introduction, first we'll take what is the decision making. So decision making is a complex process where we should identify or involve in different types of key aspect, various factors, various complex attitudes are there. So where we cannot take all the things at a similar time. So it requires step-by-step action to be identified in order to take a good decision or managerial decision. Now we'll see what are the steps relating to this decision making. The first step in the decision making was identification of the problem or opportunity. Means when I want to take decision, what is the problem assisted there, or maybe what are the opportunity I am having. First, to recognize the need of the problem in decision making, then clearly define the problem and opportunity required for decision. Means first, what is the need for decision and what are the opportunities or problems related to that decision. The second step is decision criteria. Next, we should consider some factors relating to evaluate the decision. Means one opportunity is there. So for that, what I should take into the consideration? What are the positive things and the negative things of that factor? Relating that, critically we should align with organizational goals and priority. So was to evaluate the decision making process and along with that organizational goals and the priority to be identified. The third step is gathering information. Once we identify the opportunity or the problems and then we have been assessed the need of this decision making, now collect the relevant data or the information relating to the problem. Then ensures the information is correct, timely or reliable. After collecting, it is good, it can be utilized and timely or reliable should be identified. Next, the fourth step is alternative solution. What we have been getting relating to the problem, we cannot collect only one information or one thing. So alternative, that is a possible solution relating to that course of action to be collected. and we should consider the different perspectives and approaches. Means these possible solutions, what type of environmental pattern we can utilize. So we should analyze the perspectives and also the approaches. And the next step was evaluate the alternatives. After collecting the alternative solution, we go for evaluation. So these evaluation have a different criteria consisting of pros and cons of each option. Means every alternative, what are we are having like advantages and disadvantages. How far that option will create an impact upon the organization by considering its advantages and how we can minimize the disadvantages. And the next step relating to is select by assisting these advantages, disadvantages, pros and cons. We should select the best alternative by decision criteria. And with this decision or the alternative, must and should assist with potential risk and also the benefits. Means risk and what are the associated disadvantages and what type of benefits are there should be identified. Once we identified and selected the best alternatives, then go for implementation. Means action plan to be chosen, and for that action plan we should choose or assess the allocated resources and responsibilities to be identified. So after implementation, 100% we should not leave, we should monitor the working pattern or that alternative. Monitoring and evaluating these alternatives relates to the tracking and implementation of the process, and we should always having with comparing the standard thing with the outcomes. Means what we are expecting is that was going along in the direction or not. Means our outcome and expected was matching or maybe it was in deviation. We should evaluate each and every step. And lastly, we can see the feedbacks and adjustments. So gathering feedback and implementation phase, and if feedbacks comes to positive, what are the adjustments to be done? If it is a negative, then what type of improvement should be done in future decision making. Once these feedbacks and adjustments are done, then we'll communicate that information clearly to the relevant stakeholders or the investor, such that the acceptance from these stakeholders is very much necessary in order to implement the any sort of decision. And along with these the communication, we has to understand the roles and the responsibilities of that decision making. And rather than we'll take some improvements or learnings and improvements from the stakeholders, investors while considering these decision making process, and identify the learned areas or the required areas where further improvements should be taken in the future decisions. So these are the, and keeping records along with that 100% what we have from the starting steps to the ending step, record maintenance is required. Maybe it is utilized for future reference and also for auditing purposes. So these 12 are the important steps we should consider while following a decision making. And these steps are always have a linear progression and decision making, and it must and should be an interactive process. It is not a one-side process. It should be interacted with managers, owners, stakeholders and also the workers. Once these decision making is an interactive purpose, then only it will get a good result. And also these steps will help us to, based upon the information what we are gathering and some changing circumstances. So additionally, this decision making is also involves in taking the relevant information, collecting the information from stakeholders and also fostering the collaborative decision making environment. Only then we can enhance the overall effective progress of the decision. Means a good decision 100% requires the overall collaboration of business environment and overall effective nature of the organization. So in this way, we can identify the steps in case of decision making. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.